Raju. I'm a student in the PhD Cyber Defense program. The topic that I want to present today is a comparative readability analysis of global privacy regulations and privacy notices on websites. This is the research overview. Privacy notices and regulations are intended to inform users on the data practices, but they may be too complex for most people to understand. Research questions. Question number 1. What is the readability level of major privacy regulations across the globe? Research question number 2. How does readability of privacy notices on top websites compare to regulations? Or what is the readability level of privacy notices on top websites? Question number 3. Can large language models effectively simplify privacy notices? If we determine that the privacy notices are complex, which is the hypothesis that we are starting off with. Methodology for regulatory text analysis. I've selected 10 major global privacy frameworks and then downloaded the text and applied standard readability metrics using a Python script. Website privacy notice collection. My main goal was to collect around 100 privacy notices from top websites. But to collect 100 privacy notice URLs, I had to go through top 260 websites from the Tranco list. It's similar to the Alexa list, and Tranco is the latest aggregator of this kind of popular website list. Developed an automated privacy notice scraper, ended up collecting 62 unique English language privacy policies. Even though I had 100 URLs, there were a lot of duplicates because top companies or large companies own multiple URLs which have the same privacy notice. For example, Google, YouTube, a bunch of Google properties, a bunch of Facebook properties, a bunch of Amazon properties, and Microsoft. They all had the same privacy policy, right? So uniquely got 62 privacy policies, and then applied standard readability metrics. Privacy notice scraper. So I went through 2 iterations, and the first one I was trying to automatically download the privacy notices. So I fed the program around 200 website URLs, and it just gave me 50 because the program could not find the correct privacy notice link, and it had some difficulty in downloading. So I went through a process of manually going through all the website URLs and going to the website and getting 100 URLs by going through 260 websites. But the final data set ended up being 62 unique privacy notices. Here is the key findings for privacy regulations. So as I mentioned before, I collected 10 privacy regulations across the world. GDPR, Brazil's LGPD, PIPEDA from Canada, and so on, right? And the fresh Kincaid grade level was 24.5 years of education, which is like professional level, above postgraduate level of education needed to understand most of these regulations, right? And there were significant variations across jurisdictions. The most complex regulations were the U.S. Privacy Act of 1974, which had a grade level of 46, and Australian Privacy Act of 1988, which had a grade level of 34.7. The most readable were Canada's PIPEDA, which had a grade level of 18.8, and California CPRA, which was recently drafted around 18. Website privacy notice. As I mentioned before, I had some downloading difficulty, and in the end, got only 62 successful privacy notices downloaded. Right. There was inconsistency in the path. One would expect privacy to be in the /privacy, but only 60% of websites had some privacy homepage or privacy URL in the /privacy. Around 70% of policies was shared across other sites, as I mentioned before, right? So here's the key findings from analyzing the privacy notices from a lot of these websites. The mean readability metrics was 15.7, which is significantly lower than the privacy regulations. Privacy regulations was around 34, right? This is 15.7. It's still in 15.7 is higher than what is expected for something that websites want normal customers to consume and understand. Smog index was 15.9 on average. Gunning fog index was 13.2 on average, right? The average word count was 6,700 words, and average sentence length was 26 words, right? Which are pretty long sentences. And this table has the other statistics, right? Okay, cool. Readability extremes. Most readable is bbc.com. It had a grade level of 9. So freshman high school could read it pretty well. The least readable is imdb.com, which had a grade level of 66.9, far beyond doctoral level, right? And salesforce.com had a grade level of 21.4, postgraduate level. Anything above 20 is not really readable, right? Length extremes, shortest was 129 words, which could mean that the privacy notice itself was probably just pointing towards other notices. I wouldn't really think that this was the best privacy notice, right? Microsoft policy at 57,000 words was the longest privacy notice that I found in the top 260 sites. So the readability gap. The recommended readability level is 8th grade for most people. But the average privacy notice was 15.7, which is like 7 years above, right? So the gap is 7.7 grade levels. The population reading ability, 79, close to 80% of US adults read below the 12th grade, and 21% read below 5th grade, right? So that's the gap that needs to be addressed in some way. I think a lot of research has been done in the past to point this out, and some websites have taken some measures to simplify the privacy notices, but on an average, it's still above the reading comprehension levels of people. Future work based on all this data that I have is to probably use LLM-based simplification. That's going to be the stage 3 of my project. Use LLM to transform the complex privacy notices to a targeted reading level. It's like you give the LLM an input of the privacy notice text and a targeted reading level, and it will give you an output without losing essential information. Right? Same headings, but worded differently. Conclusion, privacy regulations and notices require advanced education levels to comprehend. Average privacy notice requires college level reading ability. There's high variability in the readability. And there's a standard deviation of 7, and that suggests that different companies use different approaches to write their privacy notices. There's a significant gap between required and actual reading abilities. The gap's around 7 grades. And the future work on LLM-based simplification, hypothetically, it shows a lot of promise. Right? Thank you so much. Yeah, if you want any information regarding this, please email me, or I created a static website to show these results, and that's available at this link. You can access it anytime. I will try to modify the websites as my research progresses. Cool. Thank you very much.